Night. Golden Point drama. We might get more of the same tonight. Saints against Hull Kingston Rovers live in the Betfred Super League. The Robins will get us underway. Mikey Lewis, a stroke of his left boot, and it's Saints who get the first carry, and it's Walmsley who drives it forward. And you're right to mention that battle. No Matty Lees tonight for Saints, but Morgan Knowles is back. That will add some grunt to that forward pack.
Yeah, sure will. You know, the Walmsley's averaging 228 metres per game in the opening 3 rounds. He's been very, very good in season 2025. A big job on for him. Morgan Knowles looking the ball play, decides to carry. Well met there by McIlaurin. Does well on Knowles.
John mentioned they didn't recruit the likes of McIlaurin and Warrior Hargreaves to be winning early in the season, but later in the year. But you get the feeling those two are going to be right up for the challenge here tonight as Jack Broadbent brings back the first kick in for the injured Niall Evalds. And Broadbent has proven himself to be a really useful recruit, can fill a number of spaces, can't he, for the Robins?
Yeah, scored a neat try last week on his 100th career appearance in that win over Salford. 110 metres and 4 tackle busts as well in there.
Tom Davis, formerly of Wigan and Catalans. Here's Hadley, drives it forward. No Reece Martin for the Robins. He's gone for 4 months, so we wish him a speedy recovery as McIlaurin gets the ball into Minchella. Wrapped up. This will be the 5th tackle. McIlaurin will look to Lewis, who's going to send it high. Sends it into the night sky. And an early test for the experienced Kyle Felt. And his first catch is a good one.
Yeah, it was a decent kick from Mikey Lewis. He just sat a little bit deeper. Was able to get that ball away under no pressure. Morgan Knowles trying to get there. It was a wonderful kick. The take from Kyle Felt was a good one. It's Percival now 5 metres away from his own end, and he's met by 3 and 4 Robins defenders. That's 3 gone.
Russell Sue's been in fine form for Willie Peters' side. Here's Sirenen.
5 and 10. Go for.
Walmsley will take up the next carry. Hadley with a good tackle. This is the last one, but they're not yet up to the 30, so they need a good kick here. And that kick is sent downfield. It takes a wicked bounce away from Burgess on the near side and finds touch. Wolseley's kick not the deepest, and an early sign here that the Robins are on top.
Well, it was a clearing away of a kick. But you're right, the defensive display there from Hull KR in that set just meant that Welsby had to kick the ball from inside his own 30-metre zone. And it's the Robins who'll start. Almost 5 metres away from St Helens' half. A good start for the Robins.
Certainly is. Both have played the same 3 opponents in the opening 3 rounds, so it's fair to say on style St Helens have been in the ascendancy. However, Hull KR warming to the task over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think warming's the right word. I think they're about 60% of where they were in 2024. But they've been getting wins, and that's all that matters at this stage of the season. That's why tonight's contest is going to tell us an awful lot about one or both sides.
Well, indeed. Well, they're inside the 40 here. McIlaurin finds Lewis. Little step. I think Robins Hearts fans were in Mouse when he went off injured at Wakefield a couple of weeks ago. Here is May. He's going to send up a high kick. This is a tester for Welsby, who catches him. He's then picked up and driven back over, but he's got the ball away somehow. That was a vital offload.
Well, it was brilliant from Peter Hicker, who just to wait and time that well. And then the offload from Welsby. He needed to get rid of that ball, and he does so. Otherwise, it would have been 6 more for them.
Saylor pops up the ball. Another big carry from Percival. Absolutely no respect for his own body there.
You only get one way with him. Morgan Knowles now just trying to find a little bit of space. The Robins are doing well here to contain them. Just look how deep into their own half they are. Delaney just tries to get over the 30-metre line and does so. But we're on the last, and it's going to be a deep kick again from Welsby.
It is. Ball with Welsby. Oh, he sliced this. This is a shocker. Could be going out on the full. No, 1 bounce, but he's not made halfway. So a couple of shoddy-looking kicks for Welsby, and the Robins certainly in control here.
Yeah, he slices that one. But it's perhaps the pressure from Mikey McIlaurin, who just screams out and tries to put him under pressure, and he does so. He rattles Welsby, and the ball goes off the side of his foot. And again, they're having to defend inside their own half here. It's only 5 minutes gone on the clock. And they're having to do a bit of defending in their own end.
They are, but in fairness to Saints, they've done it pretty well. They've limited the Robbins meters as well. Slow play of the ball. Here now, the ball carried forward inside the 40 they go. Gildart. Ball in centre field here is carried forward by Hargreaves.
That's what I'm talking about. Those two locking horns. Give me some more.
May back to Hadley. Hadley on the angle. Good defence there. Saylor involved. McAlorum gets it away. Ball carried forward again. Looking to turn and spin. 20 out, last one. Lewis waits to the left. That's where they're going now to Mikey Lewis. He's just going to stand up the kick. Burgess is coming after it. A great leap on the line. It's well taken by Wellsby. But once again, Saints find themselves, well, they've got a penalty here. They were going to be pinned on their own line. Hang on.
Well, it seems to be a penalty the other way. And I'm not quite sure what exactly went on. And Wellsby, it's Carl Felt. Yeah, Carl Felt. He just knocks Joe Burgess off. Just keep your eye out here, number 2 on 5, just there. And it is a penalty. It's more pressure here.
Well, this is now a genuine opportunity for the Robins. Here goes Soaso Su. 10 away.
Move together.
They've been in the Saints half, but they've not threatened the line as yet. Now they get an opportunity for the first points of the night. Minchella turns it back underneath. Ball carried by Batchelor. Tackled by Sirenen. Minchella moves it along to May, finds Lewis, short pass to Hadley. Numbers out the back there, but they went with the league man Hadley. 5 away. Saints defence being tested early on here. Can Sue get the ball out? He can't. Lewis stays on the short side. May goes to the right. They're going now through the hands. Here is May. Gets it away to Broadbent. He finds Hiku with a shake of the hips. There's Lomax to tackle him. Last one here. And the Robins not broken through just yet. May's going to put the kick high. This will be a contest right under the post.
Great take.
High is Robertson, and he takes it right on the Saints line. First test, first answer for St Helens.
Yeah, good signs from St Helens there. First of all, the important touch from Percival out on Peter Hiku, and then the take from Robinson was simply brilliant. Just keep your eyes on this. That's a great take under pressure.
Well, he's playing in the centre tonight. He was in full-back last year, played standoff in the Academy Grand Final. He's a boy who can play anywhere.
John Wilkin mentioned pitch side that it's just important that special players, or talented players rather, they find a way into the team. But here we go, 5 again, and it's another horrible kick. And Saints are all over the place at the moment in that department.
That has gone out on the full. That is a horrendous kick. The pressure is building. 8 minutes gone here. I think the only good thing for Saints so far, it's still 0-0.
Yeah, and the rattle at the moment, those kicks from deep. And let's pay credit to Hull KR's defence. They have started with the correct intent and attitude that you need in a big game. And the kicks there. We saw one with Wellsby. I mean, now we've just seen Saylor. And they've got a bit more defending to do, and those two are at it again.
They are. We saw both coaches there, neither of them giving anything away, and neither of those two on the field, 8 against 10, giving anything away. Just how it should be. Here now an angled run from Minchella, inside the 10, still going right in front of the post. Now the Robins, well positioned, looking to strike first here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. May again, the ball possibly over the top was on. They hold on. Saints defending pretty well so far. Little step again. Minchella again will just lay the platform down. 5 meters away. 9 gone here. Short pass. Here's May. Gets it away to Broadbent. Broadbent with a little step, but more than enough. Red Beast to keep him at bay. And again, it's the last tackle coming up. Again, they'll go to May. This time he kicks a little bit further wide. Burgess and Gildart rise. The ball's on the ground. And Lewis is there to touch it down for the Robins. Missed last week. Is he back with a bang? The Robins on top. Have they got the first points?
So there's been no tackle. We've got an on-field decision of try. We're just checking for a possible knock-on. So we're pulling it on the ball. Everybody to the left of the kicker is onside at this point, so we go forward into the catch. So we know they're all onside, so we just need to establish who this ball comes off first. So we've got a tight in on that. So we just need to make sure it doesn't touch Gildart's hand. So the ball is touched by Felt and then goes towards the Hull KR try line. So we can play on till this point because it will have always gone. So Lewis is now in possession, and then we can just go through to the ground in, please. Thank you. I have a decision.
Only took one look. The Mikey Lewis, who left the DIY Kitchen Stadium on crutches a fortnight ago, is back in the lineup. And Hull Kingston Rovers talisman has got over for the first try of the night. The Robins faithful that have made the trip over, rewarded with an early score. And you have to say, on the balance of play, Kyle, that was a well-deserved score.
It certainly was a real team effort there. Their intent, discipline, attitude, commitment to defence will really please Willie Peters. And when you front load your energy, you sometimes get the rewards for it. And it's been a dominant 10 minutes from Hull KR defensively, and then the kick from May gets Mikey Lewis. This is his 5th try in the last 5 meetings against St Helens. The boy loves scoring against them.
Well, he won't have been expecting to be kicking goals this season. Rhys Martin brought in from Leeds to alleviate what was a problem for the Robins last year, but no Rhys Martin for round about 4 months. So the kicking tee is back in the possession of Mikey Lewis. And it's a tough one first up. Can he convert his own try here for a 6-point lead? Strikes it wide of the target, and it curls in. Well, there were plenty of uprights hit yesterday in a dramatic night, and already here we've had one hitting the upright.
Yeah, but this is the kick from May. Robertson backpedaling, Felt arriving, and the two of them just get it all wrong. Both competing for the same ball, and Mikey Lewis just hovering and sniffing around the back. Delighted with his opening score. It's 4-0.
It is the Robins who lead by 4 points. Let's get to pitch side then and say good evening to Jenna Brooks.
Good evening, Mark Wilson. St Helens fans, people watching might have noticed that their prop, Matty Lees, is missing. Nothing serious, just a couple of niggles. He will be back next week, so George Delaney starts at prop. And Noah Stevens has come into the 17. He starts on the bench.
Cheers, Jenna. Here's a big miss. Matty Lees got that new contract, new long-term contract as well. He's such a big part of this St Helens pack, absent tonight. Paul Wellens will be hoping he is back sooner rather than later.
He provides a real energy and leg speed in and around the middle, and he complements Morgan Knowles so well and allows Walmsley to do his best part of the game, which is carry the ball with a bit of freshness.
Robins looking to clear out of their own end for the first time. Knowles was interested in the steal there. He couldn't quite get his hands on it as Lewis kicks from the 40-metre line. Looking to find the grass, but Wellesby cuts off the ball on the full. Looks to launch a counter, but it's a good chase again. And again, Saints penned inside their own 20.
Yeah, perfect set after points for the visitors. A kick from Mikey Lewis, and then they transition the ball inside their opposition 20 metre zone. And Kyle Feld just tries to get some momentum, some ruck speed. Lomax now playing down the left.
Yeah, looking to spread the ball wide, but offloaded off the ground back to Lomax. Lomax, short pass, look forward, it was forward. Pressure does funny things to even the best of players, and Lomax comes up with a big error inside his own 40.
Yeah, he just can't resist to let this ball go with Wellesby arriving. The pass is forward. And they're putting themselves under a bit more pressure here. Paul Wellens looks on.
Well, he was very complimentary about Wakefield's challenge last week. I don't think it's fair to say when you take on the previous year grand finalists, you are expecting a tough match.
Well, I said about maybe 10 minutes ago that I don't think we've seen the very best of Hull KR, but I'll take that back. We're seeing a very good display here this evening so far. Only 13 gone, plenty of game time left.
Yeah, lots of time yet, but a question we ask whenever we see a game like this: how much damage is this doing to St Helens' energy reserves, because they are having to defend tough inside their own half of the field. Hiku will play the ball. Now it's brought forward here by Sue. Puts his head through the challenge.
A lovely play from one scrum line to the other with just one pass.
Minchella finds May. Gets the ball away to Broadbent. Here's Hiku. Hiku had the chance. He was chopped down by Lomax. Great defence from Saints. But here come the Robins again. Ray Hargreaves gets the bumpers up on Walmsley. He's thinking about an offload. He goes to ground, 5 away. Last one. The Robins lined up to the left. All the key playmakers are here. Minchella into the hands of May. Short pass now here. It is Gildart. Gildart. Oh, what a pass. He couldn't take it in. Lewis spills it. And it's going to be a 7-tackle, 20-metre restart. So close to a Robins second.
Oh, geez, Mark, they look threatening. And this time it's down the left edge. Just look at the offload there. And it's just behind Mikey Lewis for a dead-set try. But Saints survive. And Percival now, he's tasked with just getting some more ground away from his own half of the field, sorry.
Yeah, this is Saints' first real chance to get out of their own half. Suranen racked up. Robins looking now to force the error. Walmsley takes it forward towards halfway.
Oh, we're in a game here. We are in a game.
Saints fans making themselves heard. There's a jump out of the line. Ball's on the ground. And it's another set restart. So a break finally for St Helens there, and they needed it.
Yeah, another sloppy pass there. Tom Davies just gets his hand to it for 6 more.
Oh, there's a fumble there.
They've lost the ball. It's George Delaney who just fumbles it. And they're not quite doing themselves any favours whatsoever here. It was a forward pass, a loose ball. They get a 6 again, and then the next play, Delaney just spills it.
There was the try. 4 points on the floor. Lovely play from Gildart, though.
Oh, it was beautiful. The shape, the pass selection of him all. Just that offload, just that overrun perhaps from Mikey Lewis. It would have been a blistering start.
Would have been. Scrum on halfway. The Robins dominant early on, but only 4 points to show for their endeavours. Again, another set of 6. And now forward will go Batchelor. Younger brother James up against his older brother Joe tonight. Ray Hargreaves carries, he's tackled. Willie Peters would love a few more points on the Robins tally early on here. So Sue carries, Suranen and Delaney with a tackle. Minchella gets it away to May. Short pass, Hadley. Hadley taking on the defender Saylor and takes him back 5 or 6 metres.
Tyrell May just digging right into the line there. That allows Hadley a one-on-one and pinches another 10 metres.
Here's Minchella. Gets it away now. They've got numbers. Here's Hiku. Hiku can't get the pass away. Another great tackle. Percival it was round the laces. Last one. May set up, looking to kick towards this near side. He floats it towards the post. Hadley trying to get up. Ball caught by Robertson again. And the young man comes up with the ball to save Saints.
Yeah, we'll get another look at that catch. And it was difficult. It was over his head. I thought he'd overrun it. He just plucks it out behind him. Just watch this. He's stretching behind. That is an unbelievable take from the youngster.
You just said Gildart was favourite. There he is, Robertson. Give him a position. He'll play it for you. St Helens have got a special one there, that is for sure. Couple of tackles left for Saints. Walmsley again. He's had a good start despite his side being on the back foot. And again, they're going to have to kick deep from within their own territory. Wellesby this time goes high. It's not a deep kick at all. Hiku's going to catch this on the full inside his own 40. And Saints' kicking game at the moment is going nowhere.
They're just not being clean. They've just not connected and put the foot through the ball. They've just lost about 20 metres on that kick. As Davies now, once again, just crosses over into Saints' half.
And here goes Burgess. Up to the 40. Macalorum at dummy half. Ray Hargreaves offered the ball, but held on in the end. Well, it feels like the game has been played predominantly in the Saints' half. It has, because they've been utterly dominant so far. Broadbent can't duck under one. And this will be the last tackle. A little bit further out, so they'll go to Lewis. He's going to put some height on this to invite the contest. The ball coming down inside the 10. Welsby gets in, has nowhere to go. Straight to the floor.
It's a lovely end to the set, though. Just look at where Saints are having to carry this ball.
Catalans leads tomorrow. Sky Sports Plus 5:30, and on Sunday the Vegas returnees Warrington take on Wakefield and Wigan take on Huddersfield. Both games live 12:55 on Sky Sports Plus. Don't forget the Bench podcast. We're talking all things England Women's Rugby League as well. And again, look at this defensive effort. Welsby again. Now that's a better kick, yeah. But his problem, they're going to catch it on the 30.
Well, it's took 20 minutes before they've got a decent kick away. Percival goes for a big shot. And the footwork from Davies just beats him. And Broadbent just trying to test the markers. Morgan Knowles answering it.
Yeah.
Go. Speed up, Saints, come on!
Well, we mentioned the game being played predominantly down at one end. Look at this for a stat to emphasise that play. The ball's in the opposition 20, 15-0. There's going to be some more here because they're breaking through. That is a damning statistic of what we've seen tonight. Here come the Robins again. Broadbent ambles across, finds Lewis. Lewis uses the decoy, takes on two. Tackled 8 metres away. Last one. Having to reshuffle with Lewis tackled. Here's May. May's going to fire the ball out the back. Miss out past Burgess. Nowhere to go. He's going to have to take the tackle. He's going to go into touch. Well, that statistic. There's a bit of pushing and shoving here. Burgess and Batchelor getting friendly with each other there. That stat, Kyle Moore, tells one story, but the scoreboard tells another. It's only 4-0.
Yeah, it's only 4-0, and that's what Paul Wellens will be pleased with. The defence has been put to the test on a couple of occasions, and apart from that error between Felt and Robertson, where Mikey Lewis has just pounced and got that try, they haven't been able to break him down. But there was a couple of worrying signs in that set there. Tyrone May dances through on that right edge, and then Mikey Lewis back through the middle. And that's because when you've been defending your own line for 20 minutes, it just takes so much out of you.
Well, I mentioned that. When is that going to impact? In the last 20, maybe?
You'd imagine at some point St Helens will get their fair share of possession. But at the moment, they're just not allowed because OKR have been strangling them. McIloran chopping down Delaney.
Well, defensively, this has been outstanding.
Well, Parsi brought on there to try and change the momentum of it. But just look again, there's one more play here, and then it's tackle 5. And they're kicking, just look where they're kicking from again. It's so deep.
It is. Again, they'll go to Welsby. This time he kicks downfield. Broadbent will get there on the full. Catches it 20 off his own line. Looks round. Got Tom Davis with him. He's not going to use him. And he's tackled 30 out. I think Saints will take that from where they've been in this opening 21 minutes. 4 points to 0. The only try for Mikey Lewis on his return after a 1-week absence.
I don't think there'll be any panic as such from Saints, but they do need to start advancing down that end of the field. Offload here doesn't help.
Late, Nez Whitbread got a new 3-year contract. Well-earned new contract as well for him.
There was another one that lifted OKR last week, 150 metres off the bench, 2 tries for him.
Here's Gildart. Lewis tried to open up the gap in front of him. Couldn't quite manage it. Gildart wrapped up. The shot goes in there on Uriah Hargreaves. Last one. Lewis is going to advance forward. Is he going to run it? No, he's going to send the kick up high. May will challenge for this. May does challenge, and he knocked the ball on, I think, into Welsby. Welsby back into the field of play. Look for a counter. And he had nobody to pass it to. What a passage of play. We've seen that before. May chasing the Lewis high kick. Almost pulled it off.
He'll take nothing away from Welsby. He does ever so well to get out of there, but Willie Peters will be disappointed. Because look what happens here. 2 plays later, brilliant work from Welsby.
That looked like May got a knock on there.
And he shouldn't be able to get out there, but he does. Oh, they've no. This time it's Felt. Felt comes up with the error. They're just killing themselves at the moment, Saints.
Has he been a little bit unlucky there, Carl Felt?
Yeah, I think so. But it matters not. Jack Smith decides it was an incorrect play of the ball. His foot actually hits the ball. He stood up, but he squashed it.
Well, there is another game tonight. Much talked about game, and Castleford lead troubled Salford by 6 points to 0. Callum Watkins in the sin bin. You can follow that over on Sky Sports Plus right now. Ball inside the 40 again. Oh, they've lost it. A juggle from Warrea Hargreaves. Well, Saints are starting to get a little bit more of the ball. Now they lose it. We'll come back for the first knock-on. Is there an element here of growing frustration for Hull Kingston Rovers that the score's only 4-0?
Yeah, sometimes when you've had all that possession and all that territory and you've only registered a single score, it can creep in. But Gerald Warrea Hargreaves, that's his 11th carry so far. He's put himself about as the big front rower. Well, perhaps he's just getting a little bit fatigued towards the end of his set. He comes up with the mistake. And it's, you have to say, it's one that St Helens have been hoping for at this moment.
Dean Hadley is leaving the field. I think he may be going for a HIA. I can see the green substitute card down below. So Dean Hadley going for a head injury assessment. He's replaced by Kalepi Tanginoa. There he is, heading down the tunnel. 15 minutes to pass the relevant tests. Will he be back? Let's hope so. 15 to go to the break. A big 15 as well. Gildart tried to put the squeeze on Robertson. Oh, the referee. Why has he not let that go on? Robertson has just stood up Gildart. He's about to break free, and Jack Smith's blown his whistle.
Yeah, he's jumped the gun there, Jack Smith. Because look at Robertson here. Footwork inside Lewis, and he's away there. Well, St Helens will start this set. Wellesby moved the ball. Sheridan, the big back roll there.
Well, we made
Picked a Hiku.
Yeah, we made the heavyweight comparison at the end. This would be the ultimate sucker punch if Saints go and score with their first attack. Here they go now with Parsi. Well, they defended their line numerous times, St Helens. Can they now test the Robins defence up the other end? Ball now goes out the back. Wellesby does well. Wrapped up. Clark in at dummy half. Pops it up to Knowles. Here's Delaney. Finally, they get inside the Hull KR 20. What can they do? A couple of tackles left. Are they about to level up here? Lomax goes out the back. Saylor with a kick. Bounces up in the air. Tip forward and caught by Saints. But they're going right to the touchline, and somehow Tom Davis has kept that in the field of play. The Robins maybe just getting a lucky bounce there.
Yeah, they get a lucky bounce. And they're going to have to come up with some hard carries now. The St Helens have been waiting 26 minutes to put their opposition into this part of the field.
Peter Hiku here is just taking a moment. Here's Whitbread. This is the kick again. Took a deflection off Hiku. And the offload. Davis actually has done really well there to get that offload from the Saints man. Now it's the Robins' turn to burn the tackles up in the shadow of their own post. Lewis says enough is enough. He goes early, but Wellesby's back. Will collect it on the full. He's going to be over halfway here. Wellesby returning fire for St Helens. What a start to the night it's been.
Deep kick on tackle 4 there from Mikey Lewis. And you just get the sense that Saints are just starting now just to edge their way forward into this contest.
We said it. Would Willie Peters be getting a little bit worried that they hadn't put more points on the board? Might be getting more worried now because Saints are starting to come into this contest. Here's Saylor now, finds Wellesby. Out the back, Robertson wrapped up really well by Burgess.
Yeah, well read by Burgess. As soon as the ball was in the air, change your speed. Here comes Saylor.
And there goes Saylor. Dumped to the ground. Last one. 30 away. Clark in at dummy half. Gets it away now into the hands of Lomax. They're running it here. Percival with a kick over the top. Looks too strong, but it's not. Can they get back into field and play? Broadbent somehow finds the right side of the white line.
Brilliant work there by Broadbent. John Bennison has to do better. The wonderful kick from Percival. Bennison lets him off.
Well, what we've seen defensively from St Helens tonight has been the form that took them to the four-time back-to-back grand final wins. The attack is starting now to see some of the ball as McAlorum and Warray-Hargreaves give way for Hull Kingston Rovers.
A solid start from them too, Mark. But I think for St Helens, their ability to absorb all this pressure and then start to advance into this game, it just shows you what a side they can be.
That's not a bad kick under the circumstances from Lewis. And Saints have it 30 off their own line.
Stay on the 10. Go.
Wellesby offloads it to Percival.
Move now.
There's some tired big men out there at the moment.
It is. I think it's an important 10 minutes for Hull KR. The Saints are just looking like they've found another gear.
Stay with us, Jez. Stay. Go further.
Hull KR have defended so well this evening. As Parsi gets rid of one, gets rid of two. Offload here, Clark.
Disruptive from Parsi. Here goes Clark. Up to the 40. Two left in the set. Saylor jumps in at dummy half. Looks up to see Wellesby. Short pass. Batchelor almost through. Great one-on-one tackle. Didn't get the ball low. Here now is Wellesby again. Wellesby's going to put the kick in behind. Sheringham needs a bounce. He's got one. Saints hit back. Half an hour into the contest. They've been under the pump from the first whistle. But Saints hit back. And it's Sheringham who's over. Second of the season for the big man. But it was Wellesby's boot that did the damage. Saints 4, Hull Kingston Rovers 4.
Yeah, Jack Wellesby there coming up with his 10th try assist already inside of 4 games. Curtis Sheringham, he gets his second try of 2025. And the signs are really good for the Saints. They absorb all that pressure. I mentioned I just got a feeling they were growing into this game. And it was up step Jack Wellesby, who has been sensational this season. A wonderful weighted kick and a brilliant chase through. Wellesby just sees that the right edge are up ahead. There's a space in and behind, and the kick needs to be executed. A little look, slices it straight through, and the Saints hit back. And what a try that is, and how important will that be in the context of this game?
This is a tough kick for Mark Percival. There is Sheringham, being a fine signing. Former NRL star.
Yeah, he's been huge since he arrived at the club. Just a big presence out on that left edge. Defenders have to take note.
Well, there have been some worrying times in that coaching box in the opening half an hour, but I guess when you're on the back foot, Carl, you find what your team are made of, and Saints, credit to them. Defensively, they stood firm. Only beaten once off the kick.
Yeah, man, you know you're in a good place. I've been there before in good sides during my career where you're under an enormous amount of pressure and you haven't seen much ball or decent ball in decent parts of the field. You've defended your line for what seems an eternity, but when you've got special players in your side, you just know that if you just stay with it and stay with it, that they'll produce. And good teams can absorb pressure and in the blink of an eye go up the other end of the field and score.
69% probability that he kicks this.
Well, it was only the post that denied him 6 from 6 last week over at Wakefield.
Short run up. Lewis hit the post earlier on for Hull Kingston Rovers. Can Percival slot this one over? Strikes it, and it never looked like missing. What a strike that is! Mark Percival has the Saints fans, young and old, cheering. They're in front, St Helens, by 6 points to 4.
Yeah, Mark Percival with a solid kick. But talking of solid kicks, just look at Wellesby staying alive. The right edge there, you just start advancing forward. The space is in behind. Broadbent is nowhere to be seen. And Sheringham reacts first. And it's Saints who lead this game by 2 points. But it's took them 32 minutes, Mark.
It has. And it's worth remembering the build-up to that try. Parzy's big run and offload had a big part to play, and now he's got a penalty. They sent him on to change the trajectory of this game, and he has changed it.
Yeah, he's had a decent start as Parzy. I saw him a couple of weeks live over at Castleford, and he basically came on and lifted the game to another level, and Castleford couldn't cope. I think nearly 200 metres he made. He's such a big body.
They seem to be using him differently now, more like Wigan used Mago, short but really, really disruptive.
That's effective, isn't it?
Here comes Saints, strong tackle. It is worth bearing in mind for 32 minutes and the 2 tries we've had, they have both come from kicks. Here goes Parzy again, on another offload again. Clark alert to it, finds support. Only halfway through the tackle count. This has been a good set here. Welsby again into the line. Evades Lewis, looking for runners. Finds one in Parcy, who goes again. Again, he's looking to offload. It was on as well, but there was no one to give it back to. And Saints here looking to go back to back. Ball now works his way. Welsby with a kick throw. Great catch from Lewis. Brilliant hands.
Yeah, well watched by Mikey Lewis. And Jack Welsby just trying to do a carbon copy for his right edge back row. Gildart's away.
He is, and he had support. Broadbent was there. There would have been no one in front of them. Great response from Gildart. Fine margins, quick reactions.
You can't take your eyes off this game.
Well, we've had some absolute crackers in the opening 3 and a bit rounds. We've had 3 golden point games already.
How good has the start to season 2025 been on the Super League?
It has. The atmosphere in the stadium has been great. The action on the pitch, as always, has delivered. Here come Lewis. It's the last one. He needs to find an offload. He needs to find an offload, and he hasn't.
Brain explosion there from Mikey Lewis. He couldn't resist the run. He perhaps forgot what tackle it was, and Tristan Saylor does ever so well to wrap him up. He's deceptively strong, is Mikey Lewis.
What's Willie Peters thinking at this point?
Again, I don't think there's much panic from him either. His side have been very, very good. Apart from that 5-minute blip where St Helens have just got a bit of momentum.
Just over 5 to go to the break. Delaney with a carry. Well, it was a night where nothing was going to be asked, nothing given, and that's exactly what they've served up. Here's Percival running at Hiku, gets through him, but May drags him down. 2 left in the set here, and the Rovers at the minute are going backwards. Here's Lomax, finds Welsby, gets it to Saylor. Saylor pops it up for Robertson. He's got nowhere to go, but he steps away from 1, he steps away from 2. Saylor gets it to Welsby. Welsby dribbles the kick through. Somebody needs to be brave, and Hull Kingston Rovers come up with the ball.
Yeah, perhaps not the right kick there from Welsby, but they'll be pretty happy just to camp down this end of the field and get after Hull KR defensively. Just thinking back to your point there with Willie Peters, Mark. I say St Helens try will certainly change the dynamic of what he has to say at half-time for sure.
And all that ball and never really created a great deal. It was always on the last kicking option that they looked most likely. One of those led to the Lewis try, but Sirenen on the end of the kick from Welsby. And it's 1 try apiece. Tanganoa gets it away to Lewis. Lewis shrugs off 1, shrugs off 2, brought down by Felt. Had to jam in off the wing. Last one, Felt needs to get out of the way and does. It was a scruffy play of the ball. Litton sends it high.
What's the difference between that one?
Oh, now, penalty. A late penalty here. Well, this is an absolute bonus. Hands in the ruck from Kyle Felt.
Well, Mark, Kyle Felt got pulled up for a play of the ball very, very similar. But Jack Smith deems that there was a hand in there, perhaps a little bit harsh, but play goes on. And OKR once again have been starved for a little while in this game at this part of the field. And what have they got in this set? May throws it onto Whitbread.
We talk about the finest of margins, and that call could be a big moment here. Can the Robins nudge back in front? Tanganoa did well to hang on to that. wrapped up. Look at the Saints' defence here.
Yeah, the
line speed.
Brilliant work underneath the ball there. Tangino is such a big, powerful runner. Knowles misses him, and then Delaney and Sirenen are all in there. Here's May.
Gets it away to Broadbent. Broadbent straightens up the line. Still going, gets it away.
Brilliant.
Davis! Flying finish! Tom Davis is in! They're going to check this, but it's another Super League standard trademark finish. Is he in the field of play? Referee has handed it upstairs.
So we have 0 tackle field, and the line decision is a try. We're just checking touch and grounding. So he's in the field of play at this point. The ball and the leg is in the field of play. The ball is in the hand. He is took off, and the ball is down. Thank you. I have a decision.
What a finish.
Jeez, Mark, we get to see some special finishes in this game. And Tom Davis comes up with another one. Decision incoming. Try it is.
It's not the surprise now when they score, it's the surprise when they don't score finishes like that. What a finish. Third of the season for Tom Davis, the former Wigan man. He'll have enjoyed this one.
3 games in a row now, Tom Davis registers a score, but here's the penalty. Hand in on the ball. I'm not quite sure where the hand is on that ball. Perhaps they get a little bit of fortune, but take nothing away from the execution of this play. May onto Broadbent, stands up, Percival gets on the outside of him, Benison gets interested, a cut-out ball, and Davis comes up with a superb finish in the corner. Just look at this here, great work from Broadbent, the stand-in fullback, and a standout finish.
He knew he'd got it down. Tom Davis, big signing from the Catalan Dragons, 100th career try earlier in this season at Wakefield. Looking ahead to the next century of tries now. Lewis, another tough kick. This would be a welcome bonus if he can slot this one over. Looking to curl it in, looking to curl it in, he has! Mikey Lewis, even he smiles it was that good.
What a kick from Mikey Lewis, the reigning man of steel. Cool as you like. We'll take a look at this try once more. Broadbent. Mark Percival's a good defender, but he ties him in knots here. And just gets that ball away across the face of Hiku. Davis in the corner, but look at this. Beautiful strike, great picture. We're talking about Saints there, maybe getting back into this contest, but you have to say, on the balance of the opening 39 minutes, the scoreboard is deserving for the visitors.
Yeah, one more set to see out. All level over on Sky Sports Plus down at the Jungle. Castleford 6, Salford 6. Ryan Brierley, former Castleford player, with the points. And bad news here for Hull Kingston Rovers. We saw Dean Hadley leave the field around about 25 minutes in. He has failed his head injury assessment, so he won't be back tonight. And now another penalty here. Is this just a little bit too far out, isn't it, for a pop-up goal?
No, it is. It is. Mikey Lewis will just boot that ball. That is a great kick. Well done, Benison.
Wow, Benison has saved the day there. Did that stay in the field of play? Well, it was a bit of a gamble from Mikey Lewis. Benison stops any potential effort and a drop goal. Here it is. Benison leaps from the field of play. He's done a great job there, Benison. Really good job. But it's Hull Kingston Rovers and Mikey Lewis who got the opening try after they dominated the opening 20. Curtis Sirenen hit back before Tom Davis, trademark flying finish. He's at the break. St Helens 6, Hull Kingston Rovers 10.
Mark Kyle, thank you very much. Well, you know never to write off the Saints, either at the end of the game or at the end of the half. They dragged themselves back into that first 40 minutes, having been battered by the visitors, but having only conceded, crucially, 4 points. At the break, though, they're locked up at Sorry, I beg your pardon, it's Hull KR with the half-time lead, courtesy of that late Tom Davis try, spectacularly converted from the corner by Mikey Lewis. The returning Mikey Lewis has them 10-6 in front. Well, let's take you over to Castleford and the Mendahos Jungle, where the home side went 6-0 in front with Callum Watkins in the sin bin. Well, Callum came out of the sin bin, and after Easton Marston skipped across the field and gave it to the Salford captain, he set up Ryan Briley on the inside for a much-needed try and much-needed celebrations for a side under pressure. Snead converted. They're locked up with 6 points apiece at half-time there. Well, we've got Hull KR 10-6 in front over St Helens here. We thought we were heading into the break with the Saints in front before Tom Davies' late try in that first half. A spectacular finish in the corner. It has been an intriguing first 40 minutes in what we build as the most eye-catching game of round 4, pre-round, of course. I think it's lived up to its billing, Jodie.
Yeah, I think both sides have upped the intensity. You have to say that Hull KR dominated that first half, the majority of it. Probably threw a lot at Saints, and really from a kick pressure perspective, put a lot of pressure on this Saints side, who struggled to get them out their own half for the majority of that half.
It is just March, but I think it's fair to say we saw at the start of that game, particularly from Hull Kingston Rovers, late summer rugby league as we're heading towards the playoffs.
Yeah, I thought it was a really disciplined and patient approach to how you play the game, and specifically when we look at the kicking game, I thought the kicking game was accurate, the way they chased the ball was accurate. More importantly, the pressure that they put on the St Helens kickers was incredible. You know, they highlighted, well, if we pin St Helens deep, the long kicking game's not great. Jack Wellsby kicks one out, and then we see copy and paste. Look where they're kicking it from, Brian, to start with.
And Mikey Lewis's pressure there.
Yeah, and Saylor kicks it out. And look, they highlighted that. They put pressure on the kicking game. And Saints were kicking from poor parts of the field because of the discipline and the accuracy of Hull KR's kicking game. Tyrone May this time, similar story, into that right-hand corner for St Helens. They couldn't deal with it. And Mikey Lewis finishes. Robertson and Felt tried the best. But I love the focus of just a very simple element of the game, kicking the ball, and Hull KR just did that so much better than St Helens.
Now what we had, Jodie, in that first 20 minutes, which Mark articulated during the commentary we showed graphically, was a domination of territory by Hull Kingston Rovers in that first 20 minutes. What you would say is that St Helens didn't flip it in the second 20, but certainly stemmed the bleeding.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was definitely a turning point at that 20-minute mark. But Hull KR would have probably been disappointed to not have more points on the board with the amount of possession they had in that first 20. And then you did start to see Saints come with some momentum, that tempo that we spoke about in the halves early on. I thought it was really great short side, all stemmed from Wellsby really, with that great pass to Batch, the offload, and then he just found a way to drift across the defensive line when he receives this ball. It seems like the best players in the world have the most time on the ball, and that's exactly what he did, and he put it on a postage stamp there for Sheridan.
He is a superstar. Jack Wellsby, he can do it all.
Yeah, and we spoke about his combination with Tristan Saylor. Well, that's not really materialised, but for a side that were completely out of it, had one play the ball in the opposition 20, that's the danger and the beauty of Jack Wellsby. He created that offload, took a short side, drifts over, and a beautiful kick, as Jodie said. But we thought that was going to really punish Hull KR for not taking the chances.
Exactly.
It could have been 6-4.
Exactly. 4-0 up with all that position,
not
and
good
all
enough.
that possession. Exactly right.
Yeah,
so they're trailing by 2. Tom Davis in the corner then. Talk us through this one.
Yeah, well, the last try was crucial, and it came off the back of a bit of ill-discipline from Kyle Felt. And then we see Hull KR fall into shape, which they're so good at. Minchella finds a bit of space. Broadbent with footwork. Percival turned inside and out, and Davis with a tidy finish. I love the work by Minchella. I think him and May really square, really nice, and create some space.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the opportunity for that try came off pressure relievers from Saints. You spoke about the kick pressure that they put on St Helens early on. Then another poor kick basically took pressure off this Hull KR side, who'd started to feel the pressure, and they managed to get back up the other side and then take a fantastic try there from Tom Davies with the acrobatics to finish that one. It's pretty incredible.
How good are these finishers?
Oh, yeah, so good. I mean, I forgot to mention the finish. I was talking about Minchella's pass. What about the finish?
That's because he played in your position. Yeah,
exactly.
Give the wingers some
let's
credit.
talk about loose forwards.
Hey, are you any wiser? Who's going to win this?
I think Hull KR have turned up with an attitude to win a big game. You said such a good point. It's a playoff performance from them so far. Saints have not had a sniff, but they scored a try, and if you give them the ball, they're going to score more.
We have got a game here at the Totally Wicked Stadium, round 4 of the Betfred Super League, and the home side trail by 4 against the Hull Kingston Rovers side, who have won plenty across the M62 tonight. They have roared their side into a half-time lead, but you know how it goes. Right off the Saints at your pearl. What have they got in response? You'll find out with us here on Sky Sports after this.
Whitehead, red ball, Test scores, Revenos hit the front.
Yes, the master Wayne Bennett did it once again, pipping his apprentice Christian Wolf as the Rabbits beat the Dolphins. More NRL action for you on Sky Sports tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. on Action. The Sea Eagles kicking off their season against the North Queensland Cowboys, and available now on demand and on YouTube is my interview with Peter V'landys, the ARLC chairman in Las Vegas. We cover topics as varied as the late Queen, Donald Trump, and a possible NRL interest in working with Super League. A takeover maybe on the cards. You'll have to watch and find out. We're at the Totally Wicked Stadium. It's round 4 of the Betfred Super League, and the visitors lead by 4 at half-time, courtesy of a late Tom Davis try. Jody Cunningham, very quickly, what separates these two sides at the end? Can you pick it?
Look, it's tough. It could go either way. I think the intensity in defence and the kick pressure and putting Saints in bad spots is what's got Hull KR ahead at the half-time. If they continue with that, I can't see why they can't come away with the 2 points.
Hull KR have been the better team. Saints have lacked a little bit of discipline. If they can get the first share of the ball, Saints are a chance, but Hull KR have been really good here, Brian.
Let's get the half-time team news from the dressing rooms from Jenna Brooks, who is tunnel side. Jenna.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, Willie Peters said that they dominated that half. He said they got to start again, though. They got to build into this half. As far as Paul Wellens goes, he mentioned the pressure that his side had to absorb. Really proud of their effort in defence. He said, game on. Let's get this second half underway. Mark Wilson and Carl Amor, over to you.
Cheers, Jenna. Well, there is Paul Wellens looking on. There will have been certain parts of that first half he would have been delighted with, as he said, and certain parts he want his team to fix up. But that try just before half-time for Tom Davis has turned this game once again in favour of the visitors. Big second half in prospect, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right to reference that Tom Davis try, a bit of a sucker punch for Saints as they were just sort of feeling the way back into it. But I agree with what everybody said, pitch side. Hull KR have been the more dominant team, clearly, and the scoreboard helps them out in that department also. 10 plays 6 in the second half is underway. Kyle Felt to start us off. Big 40 minutes here to come.
Yeah, this is going to bounce. How will it bounce? In the end, it bounces quite nicely for May. He gets it away. There is Whitbread. He's wrapped up. And Saints defence gets first crack at the Robins as they look to get out of their own ends. I think if we are honest, that try for Davis did give the scoreline a more fair feel. Remember, no Dean Hadley second half. Failed his head injury assessment just before half-time. Luckily gets the ball away. Jez Litton looking to work his magic here. There's a direct carry from Broadbent, finds the ground, 40 out. Lewis on the front foot will kick downfield. Welsby will sprint across, catches it on the full, and he will look to bring it back, gets it away to Felt, and he's wrapped up on his own 20. Percival carries well from inside his own half. Here's Darryl Clark, starting to really find his form again. Darryl Clark, such a key man for this Saints side, as is this fellow Welsby. Oh, not the best pass there. Robertson will pick it up. What can he make of it? Runs forward, luckily Bear hooks him to the ground. An error there for Saints, just cost them a few metres.
Loose ball there from Welsby. Just means that he's going to have to kick this ball now inside his own 40. And it's straight down into the throat of Broadbent, who looks to return this with interest, but met by Delaney.
Well, OKR made more meters in that first half. They're going to make a few more here as well. They've got themselves a penalty. Delaney it was who was penalised.
Yeah, nearly 60-40% in favour of Hull KR for possession in that first half. And they're going to get a little bit more territory here as Hiku introduces mate.
Here's Lewis. Pops it up for Luckley. He's turned away. Saylor clamps the ball here. Oh, that ball's come out. That's good. Well, I think they'll challenge this, won't they?
I think so.
They are going to challenge it, I think.
Yeah.
There were certainly hands on the ball. Now, whether there was a stripping motion, well, they're arguing how long's he got. They are going to challenge.
So it's tackle one. Hull KR are challenging the on-field ruling of a knock-on. So we need to go tight in this tackle. Yes, it's on this tackle.
Got Mikey Lewis's hands on him there. It's a bit of a weird one.
Okay, so we go tight in on there. So the St Helens player has got his hand on the ball, but he's allowed to be in there at that point. There appears to be no clear stealing action. Can we just see it from corner 9, please? So this will give it us. So we know that Saylor is on the ball. Lewis is underneath. Lewis is the one that's got the ball hooked underneath. So we can just keep going here. Saylor's entitled to be there, and it's Lewis that has stolen the ball. The challenge is unsuccessful, and it will be a St Helens scrum.
Well, we've had own goals in football. We've now had an own ball steal. What do you make about that one, Kyle? Well, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, Mikey Lewis there. I think he's just trying to con the referee. Saylor's got an enormous grip on that ball with Sam Luckley. And as he comes down, it puts his arm in a difficult position. And then the rake from Mikey Lewis right in front of Jack Smith. Certainly is an own goal.
I'm absolutely gobsmacked by that. You can see why Luckley felt the ball had been stolen. It was, but by someone on his own team.
I think Mikey Lewis just tries to con the referee, and he'll have a none of it.
Well, Saints have here now. Well, look at that. Challenges so far, 1 successful, 2 unsuccessful, and not inconclusive. Chance for Saints, one that maybe they weren't expecting. Here is Knowles. 2 tackles left in the set. Here's Lomax. Finds Wellesby. Tries to bump off May and does so. Here's Wellesby now across. Luckley had a swing. Across the shoulder. Missed the 5th tackle. Where's the kick coming from? Here's Saylor. Going to send it high, and a tester here at the back for Burgess. Burgess, brilliant catch, really good catch. Oh, then he's picked up and dumped to the ground, and that's going to be a penalty, I think.
Super take there from Burgess. He's giving his opposite a spray after that penalty is given away. Two well-established catches there competing, and then the leg lift. It's a penalty and a relieving one as well for Hull KR, 10 metres away from their own line. And Mikey Lewis will just punt that ball down another 20 metres or so.
He's had a bit of a mixed night, Kyle felt so far, hasn't he?
Yeah. Of course, it was his penalty that led to Tom Davies's try.
Yeah.
And his error as well that led to Mikey Lewis's try. So
3-3 so far. Over 200 appearances for the Cowboys. A try-scoring machine in the NRL. I'm sure they'll have same success here in the Northern Hemisphere. But now Saints have got some defending to do. The Robbins and Litton 40 away. May finds Whitbread. Good tackle brings him down. Centre of the field. Ball from Litton, gets it away to Minchella, finds May, short pass, looking to get Tanganora over the top. Tanganora's wrapped up, last one. Litton waits, going down the short side here to Lewis. He's going to send it high. The chasers are coming. May up against it, ball batted back. And it's play on. Saints come up with it.
How often do we see that Mikey Lewis kick? Tyrell May chase, and then they've given the penalty away here.
Been a bit scratchy, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Start of the second half.
A little bit of ill discipline creeping into this contest. The backpack there from May. Falls into the arms of Kyle Feld. And then Burgess again just getting too interested in that mini contest between those two. They've been at it all night, ever since that tackle in the corner when Burgess was offered over the sideline.
Yeah. Well, here goes Walmsley. Knowles plays at the line, gets it away. Wingfield into the action. Ball now works its way to the hands of Saylor on the front foot, slips the ball away. They're over the halfway line with Batchelor. More points second half over at the Jungle. Castleford back in front, 12 points to 6. Moose Mustafa with a try for the Tigers. You can follow it on Sky Sports Plus right now. Every game live on the Sky Sports platform in the Men's Super League this year. Here's Saylor, he's going to send it high.
Oh, that is high.
That is a devilishly difficult one, and well done Broadbent underneath it.
He's had a superb game this evening. Jack Broadbent at fullback created that try right on the stroke of half-time and has taken everything that's been down his way. Burgess does it ever so well to get his side a quick play of the ball, and they're off here.
Here's Hiku up towards halfway. Delaney has made way as Walmsley back into the action. Set restart again. Old Kingston Rovers with Davis. Just caught Saints napping. He's over the halfway line. Quick play of the ball here. Ball works its way into the hands of Kalepi Tanganoa, trying to get over the top of Robertson, who did well to bring his man down. That is a bit of a mismatch in size, but not in spirit. Here now come the Robins. Great tackle again, Robertson.
Just getting too quick here.
Litton dummies, goes to Lewis. Lewis with a big step. Oh, he had a man on the inside, was Whitbread. Couldn't get the pass away. Big moments these for the Robins. Can they add to their lead? A looping pass to Minchella. Gets it away to May, who stood up one, but can't get away from the next three white shirts that confront him. This is the final tackle here. And Litton will play it. Going to Lewis, who's going to send the kick towards that far side, towards Felt. Burgess against Felt. Burgess gets there, gets the pass away, and it's touchdown. Gilda. The battle between Burgess and Felt goes once again the way of Burgess. Claims it high, and the Robins extend their lead.
Superb stuff there from Joe Burgess to catch that ball. The offload falls kindly into the arms of Ollie Gildart. A try last week, and he's at it again. Gildart gets on the board 2 weeks in a row. Well, Mikey Lewis's kick, the set was just too quick. Saints were on the back foot. The kick is inch perfect. Brilliant take from Burgess, and the offload there is sensational. And Kyle Felt, he doesn't even leave the floor. Burgess climbs high, and that is a sensational offload under pressure. And Gildart just dots down in the corner. And 14-6 with a kick to come. What a contest that's been out on that right edge.
Does Felt just get this wrong? Because he looks like he's setting himself, but he never actually leaves the ground.
Maybe caught in two minds. And there was only one thing on Burgess's mind, and that was just taking that ball.
There's Kyle Felt. We mentioned it, he had a bit of a mixed night. The former Cowboys superstar. Out jumped. And it's a try for the Robins. Another really tough kick coming in here. He slotted one from the sideline earlier on, but this is as tough as they come.
Yeah, all three of the tries of Hull KR have came in and around an involvement or a moment with Felt. Mikey Lewis Can he add the extras?
This would make it a 10-point lead.
No, he's pulled it.
No connection at all with that one. 1 from 3, albeit 2 very tough kicks missed, but Gildart on hands. Could Burgess have got this down himself?
Yeah, perhaps so. With the awareness to know that Gildart's there. Willie Peters claps that one in, and rightly so. 14-6. Just buys Hull KR a little bit of breathing space in this contest. There's still half an hour to go.
Ollie Gildart had a bit of an injury hit start to his life at Hull Kingston Rovers, but quality player and really starting to find his form as there's an offload there inside the 10 to Burgess, who fights for another couple of metres. Sailors all over him.
Harry Robertson comes so far in that the pass from Whitbread could have been on. There was 3 out, 3 other players on the outside.
Well, we came into it knowing that Saints had been in electric form and wondering if Hull Kingston Rovers just needed to up their game. Well, that's exactly what they've done tonight.
Yeah, you get the feeling now on the evidence of tonight that perhaps, you know, I mentioned at the start that some of those tries had been gift wrapped for Saints in terms of the quality of opposition that they were playing against. The Burgess is away.
Nice offload. Burgess is through. He's got support on his inside. Gets it away. Gildart going in. The Robins go back to back. 2 in 2 minutes for Gildart. Look what it means to him. The travelling support go crazy. And Hull Kingston Rovers take a big step to maintaining their 100% start to the season. Blistering stuff down the Robins left.
Well, there was plenty of talk around the combination of Sailor and Welsby. But what about the combination of Burgess and Gildart? Back-to-back tries and a real sucker punch here at the Tolly Wicket Stadium. As the Robins have just gone 2 important scores. Burgess away, gets on the outside of Feld. Gildart pushing in support. There's not much Welsby can do about it. But in front of those Hull KR fans, Gildart scores.
Nice offload from Tanganor in the build-up. Gildart does the rest. Willie Peters enjoyed it. Why wouldn't he? Concern in the St Helens coaching box. 2 tries in 2 minutes.
Just going back to the point we were talking about before Burgess raced away. I just felt that maybe St Helens, their opposition that they've been up against, perhaps they hadn't really had a proper test.
Well, that is the first try double for Ollie Gildart since 2020 for Wigan against Salford. That was actually played here during the COVID period. Thanks to the legend that is Ian Proctor for those little diamonds. Now this is a big kick because this is one that he should be getting. This for a 14-point lead. No mistake this time from Lewis. 3-score lead for the Robins. The Robins in the crowd are bobbing along as well.
Well, the time is against St Helens now to rescue this. Offload from Tanganor on Sailor. And Burgess there just gets on the outside of Felt. Wins the foot race. And Gildart in support. And our Saints looking at their first defeat for 2025. And Hull KR are on their way. The best ever start in the top flight.
What a great picture that was. Travelling support on their feet. Good carry from the kickoff. Saints have got to find a way here. There's still plenty of time for St Helens. They're not done yet by any stretch, but now we start to question that big defensive effort in the first half, and they've made 55 more tackles, St Helens, than Hull Kingston Rovers. That is a mammoth amount of defending, isn't it?
It sure is. But again, we have to reflect on what we saw here tonight, and apart from St Helens having perhaps maybe a decent 10-minute spell, they've been second best, Mark.
They have. Look at that tackle success, 83 and 81%. All working its way forward here with the Robins. They're over halfway again. This will be the last one. What's all Kingston Rovers fans we can hear tonight here in this stadium? There's another high kick and another tester here. Well, there's a Robins players went flying, and there this time Felt does get off the ground and does come up with the ball. More points from the jungle. Sounds like a decent game there. Castleford and Salford looking for their first wins of the season. Tigers lead by 2. You can follow it on Sky Sports Plus. Callum Watkins, the latest try scorer for Salford. Here goes Parsi, who made a big impact at the end of the first half. Falls to the ground. Clark in at dummy half. Fires it to Knowles, who finds Wellesby. Wellesby short pass juggled. Just held on. Good defensive effort there from Lewis. Ball down the short side to Saylor. Chips over the top. Couple of bounces in the touch. Well, what do you make of that end to the set from St Helens?
Well, they just need to spend a little bit of time down this end of the field and try to assert their dominance in defence and do what Hull KR have done to them for the majority of the game. And look at the travelling support there. They know that their side have turned up to this party tonight. The Saints really need to restrict the metres of their opposition and get a chance of having a crack inside of Hull KR's territory.
Winner of this one, remember, will go top above Lee, who kept their unbeaten run going last night but couldn't quite keep the 100% record going when they were held to a draw by Hull, who were outstanding in defence in that golden point period last night. What a night of drama that was. Tonight has been very, very impressive thus far. Good shot goes in there and a knock on. What a tackle. Now, if they needed something, Saints, to get them back into it, that might just have been it.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Turn the ball over in the opposition's 20 and then get after them defensively. It's Percival and Lomax who just put enough force into that contact. Batchelor spills.
They've not made too many errors tonight, Hull Kingston Rovers. This is one that Saints, if they can capitalise on this, they are right back in this contest.
Yeah, they need to score soon, don't they? You just get that feeling. Chasing 14 points. Here comes Lomax down this left edge.
Puts it away, Wellesby. Tackled 30 away. Clark in the dummy half. We're about to see Matt Whitley come into the action for St Helens. He replaces Sirinen. Clark waits. Big chances for Saints. Lomax, nice pass, tipped on and tipped behind Benison. Second tackle. They will be so frustrated there, St Helens.
Yeah, sloppy from St Helens. The quick baton from Percival. Scores behind, a good couple of metres behind Benison. And on play 2, Welland's furious. You can't afford, when you've not really been in the contest as of such, can't afford to turn the ball over so cheaply.
Popped up to Gildart. Quick fire double for him has really swung the game in favour of the visitors. Burgess certainly looked fired up tonight. And here now goes Davis. That flying finish just before half-time. How crucial that now for Hull Kingston Rovers. Here they go again. Tanganoa looking to keep that little run of destruction going down that left-hand side. Ball now into the arms of Broadbent, and he's going to be wrapped up 5 over halfway. And Lytton will look for Lewis on the last. He's going to send this into the night sky. They're going at Felt again. He's going to have to come into traffic and leaps up beautifully. Saylor gets it away. There's a couple of St Helens forwards not even making any effort to get back on side at the moment. I'm just wondering, is that Morgan Knowles might have picked up a bit of a knock there?
And Morgan Knowles is perhaps, Mark, just a bit blowing. 44 tackles to his name already. Good carry there from Walmsley.
In out goes Walmsley, looking to lead the Saints charge. They're not done yet, but they're running out of time as May goes in. Big shot on Lomax. Welsby will float the kick out wide. Broadbent gets there. Not enough height on the kick to allow the chasers to get anywhere near that.
A couple of big contacts there going in.
What about this one? Half back on half back.
Beautiful.
Robbins. Saints, to be fair, in the last 5-10 minutes, really up the ante, haven't they, defensive? They're really putting the big shots in now.
Well, they've had to, because they're chasing 14 points and the clock's ticking away. This is a decent set defensively from the home team.
It is. What's the kick like at the end of it? And it's going to bounce, but it bounces once and into the arms of Welsby, who once again will bring it back. Once again, a wall of blue stands in front of him, but it's over the 40. Seagulls, Cowboys tomorrow, 8:30 on Sky Sports Action, before Catalans Leeds, 5:25 Sky Sports Plus. And on Sunday, it's Warrington Wakefield and Wigan Huddersfield, both underway at 12:55, both on Sky Sports Plus. Saints on the attack. Don't forget the Bench podcast. You can download that, skysports.com/podcast. And on Wednesdays, the verdict, 3:30 on Sky Sports News. Saints then, starting to get a bit more territory. Need to do a little bit more with it. Nice offload to Parsi, was trying to get the arm free. Ray Hargreaves sent on to close out the game for the Robins. Here's Lomax. Nice pass inside to Stevens, who's on off the bench, the youngster. Last one here. There's a Robins defender down, has taken a knock. Here's Saylor, little kick over the top. Did he take that on the full, Lewis? He did. But if he dropped it, it went backwards.
A little chip there from Saylor. Mikey Lewis reads it well, just to deny that threat. Saylor with a little dink. Great position there from Mikey Lewis. A little bit of scramble on the end of it as well.
There is Lewis. Amazing, really, when we saw him leave the field at Wakefield 2 weeks ago. I think we all feared he was going to be out for a long time. He's back. The man of steel, made of steel. Trying a couple of goals tonight. But these are tough meters here, and this is going to have to be another good kick. Last one, they're on their own 20. Lewis goes downtown. Felt backtracks, will catch it above his head on the full. Gets it away to Welsby. Welsby brings it forward again. Tackle made on halfway. They're winning the territory battle at the moment, Kyle, but they're not threatening at the moment to break down the Robins defence.
Well, they're going to have to be patient here. I just get a feeling that Hull KR are just happy with that 14-point buffer to defend it home. The Saints will throw everything, or they will have to throw everything at them. Just at what point will one of those players out there roll the dice, come up with an offload or something?
Well, there is Lomax. We mentioned those tries that they have scored so far. Well, they need at least 3 here, you feel, as Walmsley tries to barge his way through the middle. He was brought down. Last-ditch tackle, last one. Are they going to run it? Parsi gets it away to Lomax. Lomax, Welsby couldn't take it in. And that's going to be a knock-on. Not often he makes a mistake in that kind of position, but at that time he did.
He just takes a little look away from the ball. He's reaching out for that pass. He can't pull it in. It's a disappointing end to the set.
Well, he's some competitor, Jack Welsby. He will not give it up until the final hooter goes here. Nice Rovers. Oh, good offload. Broadbent bumps off Clark. Another valuable 5, 6, 7 metres. Ball's come out there. Another big shot. Lomax is the first to react. Barrett Hargreaves dumped to the ground. And the ball bounced out of his hands. Parsi. Here's the shot. Bang.
And Noah Stevens on the old dog. Lomax reacts. Gets on that loose ball, and Delaney, he edges, he's 20 metres away.
Try now, and it's back in the melting pot. Almost through. Can they find an offload? No. Tackle made, 10 out. They'll play it now. There was nobody at home, and then Robertson's dropped it. Referee says it went backwards. It's play on. Not wiped the tackle count clean. And the Robins are short of numbers to the near side. Clark needs to find a pass, finds Lomax. Big step Lomax, trying to take them on up the middle. Tackle 5 out. Big moment seized for the Robins defence. Parsi, the battering ram, going for the line, is tackled. Last one. Wellesby waits to the right. They'll go to Lomax, go to Saylor. Here is Wellesby now. Wellesby gets to an edge, going for the corner. Jack Wellesby! Ultimate competitor. No big celebration, but he's over. And Saints have got themselves a lifeline. And you felt it had to be Wellesby who delivers it.
You know, we said about they have to throw everything at them. And Jack Wellesby gets his 3rd try. And an important score here. With a kick to come. We just take it back here to this play of the ball. They get a little bit lucky there. And the play continues. A big carry from Parsi that sets up this shape. Lomax to Saylor. 9, 6, 7 and 1 all combined. And Wellesby has some work to do. And boy, he does it well. Jack Wellesby. It's his 3rd try in 3 games. He gets over. How important is this kick?
Right, we'll reduce the arrears. Jack Wellesby in fine form. Percival then from the sideline. 10-point lead. It's still 2 tries. Even if this does go over. Short run up. Just across the face. It looked good for a long way, but Percival's kick is waved away. Paul Wellens. Well, we can't see the look on his face, but even with the try, I don't think he'll be too pleased at the moment.
No, he's chasing 10 points now. 13 minutes left on the clock. Beautiful hands. And Wellesby just gets on the outside of Gildart. Mikey Lewis tries ever so well. He can't stop the England international from scoring.
You mentioned about Hull KR containing the game with that 14-point lead. All of a sudden, does that plan have to change now?
Well, yeah, they've just got to get some ascendancy back into this game. Delaney carries straight and hard. And he's well met. Batchelor, Hargreaves, May, all in there. Noah Stevens to take over.
I feel that Saints' defensive efforts, they put in a few big hits where Hargreaves spilled the ball in his own half. They've come up with a couple of errors, the Robins, and Saints have made them pay finally.
When they do that part right, and they aim up defensively and get off the line and try and throw something into them, they get the rewards by getting the ball in a decent position, which leads to a try.
Wasn't the kindest pass off Saylor. He'll get his hands on it again here, will he? No, run from Clark.
Last tackle, move, square up.
Last one for St Helens, down the short side to Saylor, hoists it high. Now this could be a contest, or is it going to bounce? It bounces straight over Broadbent. There is covering Davis. That is a try-saver for Hull Kingston Rovers. Never let the rugby league ball bounce. They did, and they almost got chinned.
Yeah, Saylor's kick just ends up in no man's land. Ball bounces. And on another day, this could have been ever so kind for Batchelor. But well done, Tom Davis.
Here's Litton out a dummy half. Not had too many running opportunities so far. Last one, and again, Rovers are penned in their own end. Here's Lewis. down field. Felt backs off, catches it and brings it forward up to the 30. I think Hull Kingston Rovers here could do with a St Helens error. If Saints can stay perfect here, they are still right in this game.
We've probably got about 6 or 7 sets left in this game.
Short of the halfway, Clark has it. Delaney again carries. You can feel the tension in this stadium. Now in for another grandstand finish. We might be. Here's Welsby. Welsby through the line, but dragged down by Gildart. Last one. Can they get an attacking kick away? Here now is Saylor. Hoists it high across the field, looking towards Percival. They're going to let him have it. Percival gets it, flicks it out. Picked up, pass backwards. It's still the last one. Here's Parsi. What's he going to do with it? The big man puts a kick in. Collected on the full. And Hull Kingston Rovers gratefully pounce upon the loose ball. And another set dodged.
Yeah, they just put enough desperation in and around that last tackle play. And probably the one person that Paul Wellens didn't want the ball end up in the arms of would be Ignatius Parsi. And his kick just goes straight into the arms of Jarrett Worra-Hargreaves. And another scratchy end to the set for the Saints.
Yeah, they're pushing the envelope now. They're trying. Here's Tanganoa, well wrapped up on this occasion. Saints, oh, is he hurt here, Tanganoa? He is. Not sure what's happened here. Maybe just got winded there. I think he got hit hard, didn't he, as he hit the floor. He's not holding his head or anything at the moment. But we mentioned that brutal St Helens defence, and it's getting them back into this game. Hull Kingston Rovers having to work hard here. Kick downfield. Welsby, is he going to let this go in goal? No, he'll catch it on the full. A wall of blue awaits him 10 off the line, and I think Hull Kingston Rovers will be happy with the outcome there.
Yeah, they've had to ride a wave for the last sort of 8 or 10 minutes. And that deep kick from Mikey Lewis just means St Helens are going to have to work hard to get back behind the ball. Try and rely on some of their outside backs like Percival here to get them going forward. 3 plays gone. Just over the 22-metre line.
Just over 8 minutes remaining. Still time, but every second now that ticks away is in favour of Hull Kingston Rovers. Here come the Saints again. Crunching tackle goes in there on the 40. This is the last one. Welsby's going to send it long and downfield, but it's not so long. Broadbent just had a bit of hesitation there. Will catch it on the first bounce. He aims back and runs straight at Robertson. He's tackled 30 away. The forward packs on both sides now, Kyle Amor, are out on their feet.
Yeah, they are feeling it. Jack Broadbent's had a really good game for Hull KR.
We talk a lot about the big recruits and the star names, but he's a player that can fill a number of holes, and he becomes invaluable in a team that's competing to win on all fronts.
Yeah, sure is. It's a squad game. Every coach will tell you that. And Jack Broadbent, you're right, he covers a number of positions, but he's covered Niall Valls' position tonight. He's done ever so well in doing so. Jez Linton now, he looks to try and scamper forward.
Yeah, Robertson defends it well. Ball now goes to Lewis. Lewis advances forward. This is coming down on the line. Felt catches it, needs to get up and get into the field of play, and does well to get back to ground. What a position to turn it over.
Yeah, the last 2 kicks there from Hull KR are really just putting the nail in the coffin in this contest, but a penalty now he's giving away. That'll certainly help. I was just going to say, if they could have just put that set together in 7 minutes, chasing 10 points, of course, you'd be a fool to write them off.
Well, you would. That won't help the Robins cause. Just helps St Helens out and up towards the 40 on tackle 1.
They're going to have to pull the trigger soon. Find half a gap. Push and support, try and generate something out of nothing.
It's Delaney, another strong carry for him. Ball down the short side to Saylor. Offers a dummy, finds Welsby. He's the go-to man, and Rovers know it. They wrap him up. with 2 tackles remaining in the set. Ball back into centre field for Saylor. Saylor skipping across, finds Lomax, bit of a juggle, gets it away here to Percival, straightens up, nowhere to go for him, trying to find an offload. Good tackle from May, clamps the ball in, and this is the last one. Lomax sends it high. Broadbent on his own line, gets off the ground, catches it. Maybe had a little bit more time than he thought, but he did what he thought was the right thing, and crucially comes up with the ball. Well, at 20 points to 6, it looked like game over, but Saints with that try have given themselves hope, but now they are up against it. Here's Tanganoa, here the ball driven forward by Tanganoa, shaking off that knock he took a couple of minutes ago. Here's Luckley. Takes an eternity to complete the tackle. 5th one. Here now is Lewis under pressure, gets the kick away. Felt drops back, will catch it inside the 20, gives it to Welsby. Welsby looks up, heads up, full steam ahead. 30 out from his own line. They're going to have to come up with some points of some kind, you feel, in the next, well, if not this set, certainly the next one.
Yeah, it's now the time they're just going to have to throw something off the cuff. Someone's going to have to come up with something special out there for the Saints if they're going to go on and win this.
Now they've got a roll on downfield. Here's Wormsley. This is better from Saints. Wormsley almost gets through Minchella. Working to that Saylor side again. Saylor with a little skip step, gets the ball away, gets it back, batted back here. Chance for Robertson. Robertson's dancing feet getting away to Welsby. Welsby with a kick through, looking for Lomax. The bounce of the ball, fumbled by May and taken dead by Davis. Not for the first time. Tom Davis comes to the saviour of Hull Kingston Rovers.
Johnny Lomax just screaming at Welsby to thread the needle. The bounce over the top, the pressure from Lomax. But Davis is there to rescue the situation. Just sees that ball over the dead ball line. There's 6 more here to come, but 3.5 minutes on the clock.
Paul Wellens looks on. Is it going to be a first Super League defeat of the campaign? Some tough games coming up as well for St Helens over the next month or so. Lewis drops the ball out. What's the bounce like for Benison? Does well. Collects it, finds Delaney. Now or never for the Saints. Wormsley barges through. What a run, bulldozing run. Litton and Minchella hang on. If they score here, we are in for a grandstand finish. Ball offloaded back to Darryl Clark. Clark moving it wide. Taken in by Batchelor. 10 away. Parsley the go-to. Can he find an offload? No, he can't. They need to get some bodies over to the near side here, Hull Kingston Rovers, because that's where Saints are coming. Here they go. Lomax just couldn't get the ball free. Last one. This is the match. They don't score here, surely. The Robins are home. Little kick through. Batted away. They're going to be offside here, I think. What's the referee going to decide here? That was a real mess, and they are offside, Hull Kingston Rovers. But crucially, it will burn off another couple of seconds here. The hand on the line by Luckley may have saved the try.
Yeah, Sam Luckley there, just getting down low, beating Welsby to the ball. An important touch from Sam Luckley. The penalty's given away. And there's only just over 2 minutes left here.
Well, if they do score now, they'll get one crack at it. 10 points the difference. Parsi slow to his feet. Ball short, trying to drive back on the angle is Wormsley. Might need a little bit more than that. A little bit more than a barge over. They're going short again to Parsi. The Robins eating up that tackle.
Just trying to power the way over the line. No change.
Need to go wide. They are going wide now. Ball over the top, looking for Felt. Felt against his opposite number there, Burgess. Offloaded back to a Robin. And a huge cheer goes up away to our right, because Hull Kingston Rovers' 100% start to the season is intact, and it's going to be their best start to a season in the top flight in 40 years.
Carl Feld there with the offload. Throws it into the arms of Elliot Vincella. And you're right, what a start to 2025 it's been for last year's grand finalists in Hull KR. St Helens, perhaps this is the first time that they've learned anything about themselves this season. They came up against a team that was pretty hungry from the get-go. Those back-to-back tries, that combination between Burgess and Gildart, just really was the hammer blow.
There's the coach, he'll be bubbling inside. He never gives as much, does he, Willie Peters? But he'll be proud as punch with this effort, whatever happens in the last 40 seconds. Here goes Wellesby again. His try gave Saints the briefest of hopes. Well, the hope has not turned into reality. The ball up towards halfway. Hull Kingston Rovers looking to win back-to-back games here in St Helens for the first time in the post-war era. That's how special an achievement this is for Hull Kingston Rovers and Willie Peters. Two contenders going toe-to-toe tonight, but it's that man's team that are going to go away with the points. It's handshakes all round in the Rovers bench. Saints have got one last chance and they might yet come up with something special. Here's Robertson. He's going to be racked up. No, he gets it away to Saylor. Saylor juggles it. There the ball is picked up and it's hammered into the stand by Jez Litton. And it's happiness on the terraces, happiness in the Hull Kingston Rovers dugout. Willie Peters' side, Mikey Lewis back in the fold. It was his try that got the Robins off to a great start. But crucially, Tom Davis tried just before half-time, gave Rovers a lead. They were not going to relinquish. St Helens' first defeat of the new campaign. Harsh on Wellesby, who once again gave it everything. But tonight, it's the night of the Robins. Tom Davis, a couple of really strong try-saving efforts, but it was Gildart's double that racked up the victory.
Yeah, it sure was. I think for the large parts of this whole contest, Hull KR starting particularly the first 40 minutes was probably the difference. St Helens, of course, they came into the contest in the second half. They give it a crack, but ultimately they came up short, and credit goes to Willie Peters, the travelling fans of Hull KR and the players out there. 4 wins in a row in the Betfred Super League, and Hull KR climb to the top of the table.
They are top of the table. It's a good night for the Robins. 4 from 4. Saints beaten at home. It ends here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. St Helens 10, Hull Kingston Rovers 20.